Hello, welcome. Oh boy, 9 out of 10, we're so close to the end. I'm doing a series of videos where I introduce each of the characters in my project Spectrum and show speed paints of me drawing their base sprites. Spectrum is a visual novel styled YouTube series I'm working on that depicts the lives of the 10 main characters. The original base concept for Spectrum was looking at characters with specific color themes and seeing what they got in common. What trends do I see? And using those similarities, I tried to create a character that reflected them while also still being unique and interesting. While the characters all have their own lives, they all interact with one another, and the story is about the chaotic things they get up to. This video is going to be all about Gray, the 9th one in the lineup. Oh boy, get ready for another pointless analysis. Gray was tough to work with because it was kinda like white. Gray-haired characters weren't totally scarce, they definitely didn't line up with having a full gray theme. Gray as a color theme was pretty uncommon because why do gray when you could do black and probably have whatever you're working on look more sleek? That's the mindset it feels like a lot of designers have. Gray is definitely like brown, where artists try to avoid it and use something less quote-unquote boring and unfun. I personally love browns, grays, and off-whites, but I know that's not a popular mindset to have. That's definitely an artist's perspective to be like, I love neutrals when it comes to clothes on characters. I definitely get that going the neutral route can feel like you're sucking the personality out of whatever it is you're working on, but I also feel like it has its own personality. I think having a character wear gray is a fun trait. Bonus points if it's not with black or white. Gray is a fun color to work with, but that doesn't appear to be a common take to have. The closest I could really get was characters having silver as an accent, but I feel like that's cheating a little. So as I did with many of these other ones, I said fuck it and just went with what I felt would work well. Gray is sort of seen as a mature color in a way, so I decided to go in a completely different direction with it. Whenever you come across stuff that's meant to be edgy and dark, it's always black, of course. Gray isn't as common because it's not really dark enough to have that same bold impact, but I thought it would be fun to mess around with. So, he's got an outfit that could probably be entirely put together in Hot Topic. He wears a sleeveless hoodie that's sort of ripped around the sleeve holes. He's got capris that have holes or rips in them. I wanted him to wear sneakers, but I already had 3 characters with laced shoes and 2 with a bow, so I tried to do something that would change up the silhouettes. He's still got laced shoes tied in a bow, but they're boots and they're laced up pretty high. They're also the only shoes in the lineup to not feature a heel of some kind, so they're a little different. Now his hair was a special kind of awful, as you can probably see on the side where my references are. I actually changed the way I colored his hair twice. It was way too complicated the first time I drew it, so I simplified it when I did the little ref. And then I simplified it even more when I did the sprite, because it was just too annoying. If I were to design him again, I'd probably find a way to change his hair again. Thankfully, I'm pretty okay with how it looks now, but boy is it annoying as fuck to color. You'll see me struggling with it later. I like the idea of not sticking to just one gray. When it came to gray-haired characters, usually it was kind of the same looking, which I didn't want. I didn't want to do a light gray because I didn't want it to be too close to white, but I didn't want to do a dark gray either because it would feel like a cop-out and be too close to black. So I did a mix of mid-grays and light and dark. It was tough, but I like how it turned out. It's definitely memorable and leaves an impression, which is good since his clothes are pretty normal looking. He also wears a choker because it was fitting, and the only one with a necklace is red. He wears red chains. So, on to his personality. Out of everybody, Gray is definitely the most difficult one to work with. He's incredibly stubborn, he hates cooperating with people, and he avoids interacting with people. He's very easy to piss off and is pretty much always irritated. He's your typical lone wolf sort of guy, and that's just how he likes it. He thinks he doesn't need anybody to get by, so he pushes people away and keeps to himself. He's very obviously not a people person. He managed to get roped into the group by Yellow, who's the first person in the group he met. It was basically the extrovert choosing his introvert and not letting him go. Gray hated every second of it, but if you've seen Yellow's video, you know he is too genky and stupid to take no for an answer and forced a friendship to happen somehow. So despite how much he wants to be on his own, he usually ends up tagging along with the group at some point. Now, what does he do by himself all the time? Well, nobody is supposed to know, and he keeps it hidden from everybody, but he is an artist. He paints and draws in his free time. When he's on his own, he's actually pretty chill and normal. He's very calm when he's doing art unless he's struggling with getting something to look right. He regularly takes walks in areas where there's a lot of plant life, like at parks or in the woods, to take reference pictures for his pieces. Nature is his favorite thing to work with when it comes to drawing and painting, so he's always on the lookout for things to take pictures of and use for his art. He tries to be discreet about it so no one sees him doing it, which just makes him look suspicious as hell, but he doesn't care. He thinks maintaining his image as this cool, I don't need anybody kind of guy is important, so he keeps all things related to art a secret from the others. The only ones who know are Violet and Blue, which leads me into what his relationships with the others are like. So starting with the negatives this time, he fucking hates Violet, and he shows it. He's constantly getting on him about shit, and is always the first one to knock him down when he's too high on his horse. He hates Violet's personality and will always make sure to remind him. He hates the way Violet sees himself as so important just for being a royal. They argue all the time and it gets on Violet's nerves. He can't stand how strong Gray's attitude is and tries to ignore him when he can. How the two of them ended up living together in Gray's house is unknown to everybody else, but they are pretty much as close to enemies as they can be while still being roommates. It goes without saying that he pretty much doesn't get along with anybody, but he especially doesn't like Red or Yellow. He hates Red's way about making everything some horny joke, and he thinks Red is too invasive. Red doesn't really care about how Gray sees him and just brushes it off with more jokes. Gray hates the way Yellow is so happy all the damn time and is constantly telling him to shut up. Yellow practically doesn't even notice Gray's attitude and is just like, haha, you're so silly about everything he does, which is a little funny. Somehow Gray gets dragged into things a lot, and it's usually because of Yellow. He's pretty much neutral about everybody else, but he acts like he doesn't like anyone. Except White. He doesn't have it in him to be mean to White. He's not nice to him, but he isn't nearly as harsh to him because he doesn't feel the need to keep up the attitude when he's talking to White. He knows you have to be patient with him sometimes, especially when you're talking to him directly, so he's just sort of blunt with him. The only one he's actually on good terms with is Blue. He managed to bond with Blue over how crazy the group is and made a connection because they both don't like the chaos. Somehow they ended up friends, and Blue is the only one he doesn't have any issues with. He will talk to Blue about almost anything, and he turns the attitude off almost completely when he's around him. Gray visits Blue's apartment sometimes to hang out, and he invites Blue over to his house occasionally. They hang out when they're not in the group. Usually they talk more on their own anyway. So Gray is incredibly difficult to get along with, and he's clearly not close to many people. His background kinda doesn't help with this. So Gray is a man-made appliance. He's not really a living person. He's got the functions to be a fan/air conditioner, a heater, an iron, and a humidifier. He's not capable of turning the humidifier off, so he's pretty much always got water vapor coming out of his mouth. He can turn down how much comes out, but the only way he can turn it off completely is if he slows his bodily functions down by a lot, which essentially puts him to sleep. Sometimes he's able to turn it off enough to not have it come out of his mouth and just stay water in his mouth. But he usually can't talk if he does that, so he only does that when he's by himself, like when he's painting or drawing. But as for how he came to be, he has no idea who made him. He has no memories of his creator and doesn't know how he got the house he lives in. All he knows is his creator used to live there, and they left a letter to him when he gained consciousness in the house. His memory is really good because he doesn't have any memories of growing up or learning certain things. He just conveniently already knew how a lot of things worked, but anything he didn't know, his creator tried to mention it in the letter they left for him. The creator has a room in the house, but it's locked, and Gray was told not to mess with it. He has no idea where his creator went or why they left him alone. He doesn't know how long he existed before the day he gained consciousness in the house. He's got mixed feelings about all of this. He's a little pissed that his creator just left him behind that way, and hates the way they left him to figure out a lot of things about life on his own. However, at the same time, he has a feeling his creator had their reasons for doing what they did, so he doesn't really question it either. His opinion on his creator is pretty neutral for the most part, but he does have a mild annoyance with them, whoever they are. He doesn't have any desire to seek them out, but he wouldn't mind meeting them either. And lastly, his character theme that you've been hearing. I wanted his theme to sort of reflect the less unapproachable part of him. I wanted it to be a little intimidating without being too harsh. It feels a little mysterious, but it's also a little playful in a weird way. It's like it reflects the curious artist in him while also taking his attitude in consideration. You can tell he's not really open to others just based on how the song sounds. I don't know, it was just fun to play around with the melody and his personality. His song is the only one to not feature an extra instrument, which is on purpose. So yeah, Gray is a fun guy. Despite his aversion to interacting with others, he's not all terrible. He's just hell-bent on never showing his softer side, and he'd much rather be perceived as a dick than someone nice or considerate. So the others tend to make fun of him whenever he does something even remotely kind because they think it's cute. As much as he complains about the others' chaos, he tends to be a part of it a lot of the time. Here's his full sprite, and I'll show some of his others too. He's got normal sprites, and then he's got some where the humidifier is on, which means he has more than the others. In total, he has 65 sprites, which is the most out of everybody. Violet had 64, and Yellow had 61. His sprites were annoying as hell, but it was worth it. Hope you liked watching the process while I talked. There's only one more left, so you're so close to freedom. Hopefully I'll see you at the end. Take care, stay safe.